From the moment Max Verstappen entered the Formula One grid, he was controversial, not only because of his age, but also because he doesn't care about anything other than winning. With fans, commentators, and drivers calling him out, something has to be wrong. But what is it? Seeing so much hate and disapproval of his driving style, wheel-to-wheel racing, and things he says in the media has to come from somewhere. Joining the Formula One grid as a 17-year-old is something, but being as aggressive as Verstappen, a crash after a dive bomb at Grosjean in Monaco, and then refusing to acknowledge it and blaming the other driver, rubs people the wrong way. He kept it going and collected penalty points for driving too fast behind the safety car, overtook Button and left the track gaining an advantage, ignored blue flags, and he refused to let his teammate through in Singapore.
Okay, we need to swap positions.
That's certainly a rookie year that defines you as a driver that doesn't yield, will never go out of the way, and will always seek the limits. You would say someone would learn from this and change their approach, not this guy. Verstappen made it quite clear he will never change his driving style because that brought him to Formula One. Someone can tell him that, but he won't listen, and that showed. In 2016, he replaced Kvyat at Red Bull Racing and immediately won a Grand Prix. Was the pressure of "I have to perform" gone? Definitely not. In fact, he got the reputation of being the most dangerous driver on the grid. His moving under braking became an issue, not for him, but for his rivals, former drivers, and the FIA. A bad start at Spa, a dive bomb to make up for it, ended up in a small collision with two Ferraris. Later, he did some very late and moving under braking moves. He fought really hard with Raikkonen, who called him out. In Verstappen's eyes, he did nothing wrong. The Formula One paddock was alarmed. Not only Kimi called him out, Toto Wolff called him refreshing but dangerous, and former driver Villeneuve said he could kill someone. Verstappen fired back. He said he should consider his own role in the death of a marshal at the 2001 Australian Grand Prix. Yeah, he doesn't hold back for sure. He was warned by the FIA and aggressively defended against Hamilton in Japan, who went off track. He cut a corner in Mexico and gained an advantage from that. Other drivers did it too and didn't get penalized. He called it two standards. But he achieved something new. A rule change. Moving under braking was no longer allowed. It was clarified in the rulebook. And this was a direct response to Verstappen's tactics and driving style. That Verstappen rule, dropped for 2017 to allow freer racing, just weird to me. That season, he was a sore loser, according to his teammate Ricciardo. A bad start from Verstappen, he tried to make up for it and retired his teammate with a collision. And this one? Well, he did apologize immediately. An amazing drive at COTA wasn't rewarded with a podium. They took him off the podium. His final lap overtake wasn't on track, and he got to 4th place. He wasn't happy and said, "One idiot steward up there who always makes the decision against me." Multiple lap 1 incidents were part of this season, some his own, others just bad luck. The most remarkable one? Singapore 2017, with that legendary Ferrari tweet afterwards. New heights were reached in 2018, a new dive bomb in Bahrain, which he felt was right and that Hamilton was the one who drove into his left rear. Then they went to China, and that was certainly a weekend. Multiple collisions with dive bombs and a crash into Vettel. But there was only one highlight, to be honest. The media asked him if he needed to change his approach and his driving style because he crashed a lot. He responded, "If I get a few more questions, I'll headbutt someone." In Baku, we had the teammate collision which ultimately led to Ricciardo leaving the team. All race long they were battling, aggressive defensive moves, and with his moving under braking style, his Australian teammate slammed into the back of his car. At Brazil, he was leading the race, and Ocon, who was a lap down, tried to unlap himself. They collided. Ocon was out of the race, and Verstappen lost a race win. He called him an idiot and hoped he couldn't find him in the paddock. He did find him. A bit of pushing and shouting ended up in a public service penalty. The following years were calmer until 2021 arrived. Everyone knows about that season, but let's recap it real quick. It was ultimately a season where the two best drivers of that time didn't leave any space for each other. They crashed into each other, pushed the other one wide, and a brake test all came into play. But he got what he wanted, a Formula One championship. I think I've highlighted enough of his driving style, his behavior, and ultimately the mindset he holds. It's quite clear that he's fast, that he can battle for wins and championships. But why is this needed then? If you are quick enough, you can just drive past the others, can't you? Well, that's the point. This behavior is needed if you want to be the very best. It's the mindset of someone that doesn't want to be a good driver, but someone that wants to be the best and nothing less. You can't accept certain events and be the best. You need to push every boundary that's in the sport and multiple times go over it. That makes you a feared challenger, someone that doesn't sit behind you waiting for an opportunity. No, you force it into an opportunity and make sure you are the one that takes a profit out of it. It's the way that he's been molded into this racing animal. His father trained him into an elite driver that capitalizes on his natural talent. Was his upbringing the right way? Being so physically and psychologically demanding of a child? A lot of people, they don't think so. But let's be honest, would he ever have become so good, so dominant, and a four-time world champion if he didn't have this behavior? Well, not in my eyes. Everyone says that Hamilton did that, but they never experienced the pre-Hollywood one. When his teammate in 2016 won the title, he literally retired due to the psychological games that were played. Max Verstappen knows what's needed to be the best, and he doesn't change that approach. It might be on the edge of what's fair, but does he care? No, he doesn't, because he's the one with 4 world championships. We're the one just watching TV every weekend. He's the one that treats every season as a title challenge. From the moment he steps into the paddock, he's locked in and focused on winning. As soon as he's racing, he'll seek the limits, push someone wide, dive bomb out of nowhere, and maybe even drive into you. Every part of the rulebook is in his head. He knows exactly what he can do and what not. As soon as a rule is changed, he masters it. While others make mistakes and misjudge it, he doesn't. Yes, sometimes he goes over the limit, but it can also be a calculated foul, like doing a slide tackle on a football player for an open goal. Let's get back to the point. Because of this, he has an advantage over many drivers on the grid, not only because of his driving. Being so outspoken about anything that happens makes people think twice. It gets under their skin. And what does that make them do? Make mistakes. Being quick is one thing, knowing that you are quick is another, but both combined, that's a scary combination. Verstappen is a master in creating an environment that favors him, his driving style and the outcome he desires. After coming from the most dominant Formula One seasons in 2021 and 2022, in 2024, McLaren had a resurgence and came very close to Verstappen with Lando Norris, who wasn't capable of fighting with the Dutchman. People thought he'd changed because he showed less aggressiveness. The reality? He doesn't need it because his car was by far the quickest, and he squeezed every second out of it. But not in that 2024 season. Another approach was needed. The sudden surge in performance made him vulnerable. He had to defend, play games, and force the outcome in his favor. In Austria, it was Norris who was quicker, but had trouble overtaking Verstappen. Multiple laps, he tried to overtake until it ended in a collision. It was an old-school, hard defensive move that we were used to seeing from him. In Austin, it was more of the same. Lando tried and tried, but couldn't get past him. As soon as he thought it worked, it didn't. Verstappen made sure he got overtaken outside the racetrack and regained his position. Classic rulebook exploiting. Mexico was the highlight. It showed exactly what he stands for and the reason he is a world champion. He knew he couldn't win, and Norris could. So, what did he do? Drive Norris off the road, putting him outside the track and trying an overtake at a spot where it would never work. He knew it could be disastrous for his championship bid if he didn't do that. It worked. He was totally in Norris's head, who made mistake after mistake, and he got crowned champion again. For me, it's an easy answer why this behavior is so controversial. It's because, deep down, every Formula One fan knows he's the quickest one on the grid. In fact, maybe even the quickest of all time. The current Formula One grid is filled with drivers that try to combine being an athlete with being a socially likable person. Verstappen, he doesn't care, and ultimately, people will like you or not. You don't have to fit in with every person, fanbase or opinion. Just be you and drive the wheels off your car. That's what gets you championships. Senna, Schumacher, and Verstappen, 3 different generations, but 3 of the same drivers in terms of mindset. They all fear nobody, seek the limits, and go over them if it can play out in their favor. Yes, sometimes it blows up in their face, but most of the time, they win. With such an attitude and behavior, you will always have people that don't like you. But do they think you are slow, not good enough, or not worthy of being on the grid? No, it's on the edge of liking you. Just because they aren't used to seeing the one they support acting like this, they dislike it. It's also not that the previously mentioned controversies didn't give us good races. They made fans get up from their seats or secretly cheer for him. 2025 is a prime example of that. The season is a bit of a bummer with how the championship fight was managed from early on. Both Lando and Oscar made mistakes. Almost every time that happened, only one guy capitalized on it. It was Max Verstappen, the only driver that is always close to perfection. A lot of fans change their opinion of him. They actually cheer for him to win the championship, which is close to an undoable task against those rocket ships. But as soon as he's close and does something on the edge of being fair, people start complaining because they know he'll come out on top no matter what. It's in the DNA of a fighter, a driver that doesn't take second place or no for an answer. His only focus is winning, and you have to respect that, even if his behavior is controversial sometimes. Verstappen is a driver that operates on the edge of being stupid or a genius. He tries everything in his power to win, and if that isn't the case, he occasionally loses his head. But don't act like Senna or Schumacher didn't have that. They all did things that were controversial, but ultimately, they are more loved than hated, just because they came to win and nothing else. And if you enjoyed this little video about a controversial driver, you'll most definitely love this one about a driver that is in everyone's heart but got done dirty by McLaren. He could have been a multiple world champion, but he got let down by his team.